You can't heal while holding hands with the one who hurt you. That truth echoes quietly but deeply, especially when we talk about the idea that specific knowledge is unique to you. These two ideas may sound separate, but they are deeply intertwined. Healing, growth, purpose, they all require you to separate from the noise, the trauma, and most importantly, from the people and systems that shaped a version of you that isn't real. Specific knowledge is not about copying someone else's path or pleasing those who broke you. It's about becoming so deeply yourself that nobody else can compete with you because they're not you. Too often we stay close to what broke us. We keep relationships, roles, environments that diminish our energy. We seek validation from people who never truly saw us. We try to succeed in systems that were never built for us, and in doing so, we hold hands with our hurt, convincing ourselves that one day, somehow, it'll stop hurting if we just hold on a little longer. But pain doesn't heal through proximity. It heals through clarity, distance, and ultimately, independence, and that's where your specific knowledge begins to surface. Specific knowledge is not what you're told to do. It's not in textbooks, job descriptions, or standardized tests. It's not what your parents wanted, what society rewards, or what your friends are doing. It's deeper. It's the skill or understanding that arises from your unique perspective, your pain, your play, your obsessions, your scars. And the very people or situations that hurt you may have actually pointed you toward that knowledge, but they can't walk with you into it. The process of discovering your specific knowledge often begins with subtraction. You stop trying to be liked. You stop following the path of least resistance. You stop chasing approval from people who never gave you love without condition. You take a breath, step back, and begin listening to your own voice, not theirs. At first, it's a whisper, but over time, that voice gets louder, clearer, stronger. It says, "This is what I was born to do." It says, "This is who I really am." But here's the catch. You can't fully hear that voice while you're still gripping the hand of someone who silenced it. And that's where most people get stuck. They believe healing means fixing the relationship. They believe growth means making the pain go away without changing anything. But growth isn't comfortable. Growth is letting go of what's familiar, even if it hurts. Especially if it hurts. Specific knowledge doesn't come from comfort zones. It comes from courage. It comes from letting go of the old version of you, the one who played small, kept quiet, blended in. It comes from following your curiosity with no guarantees. It comes from doing what feels natural to you, even if no one understands it at first. It comes from building, not performing. You'll know you're on the path when work stops feeling like work, and time disappears when you do what you love. You'll feel aligned. You'll stop needing motivation because the pull will be stronger than the push. But to get there, you'll have to walk away from the ones who told you your dreams were too much, your ideas too weird, your voice too loud. You'll have to stop seeking safety in the same places you found pain. You may walk that path alone for a while. It'll be quiet, it'll be uncertain, but you'll begin to trust yourself in ways you never did before. You'll begin to feel whole, and from that wholeness, you'll create not just a life, but a body of work that only you could have made. That's your specific knowledge, and it's waiting for you, but it starts with this: let go. Let go of the hand that hurt you, not in anger, but in truth, not in fear, but in freedom. The moment you stop holding on to the past, your future will have space to arrive, and in that space, your real self, your specific, beautiful, irreplaceable self will finally breathe. You can't heal while holding hands with the one who hurt you. That wound, whether it came from betrayal, neglect, criticism, or abandonment, creates a loop, a cycle where we keep returning to the same person or place that broke us, hoping this time it will be different. But healing doesn't happen in familiar pain. It begins when we choose inner peace over outer validation. Most of us grow up trained to seek approval from teachers, from parents, from society. We're taught to chase praise, gold stars, likes, titles, things that say you're doing okay. In the eyes of others, but somewhere along the way we lose the quiet, stable voice inside us. We trade internal stillness for external applause, and that's where the hurt begins. When someone wounds us, especially someone close, we often don't leave right away. We rationalize, compromise, and stay, not because we don't see the harm, but because we're still hoping for their acceptance. We hold onto the idea that if we just love harder, if we just explain better, if we just change ourselves enough, they'll finally see us. Finally validate us, but that never really comes, and even if it does, it doesn't last, because peace can't be built on borrowed ground. There's a deep, subtle lie that says you need others to recognize your worth before you can feel it yourself. But the truth is, as long as you rely on someone else to tell you you're enough, you'll always be at their mercy. Inner peace begins the moment you stop asking the world for permission to exist as you are. The person who hurt you may never apologize. They may never understand what they did or why it hurt so much, and yet you still hold their hand energetically, emotionally, spiritually, hoping that keeping them close will somehow close the wound. But it doesn't. It keeps it open, because each time you look to them for healing, you hand them the power to decide your worth again and again and again. Letting go doesn't mean hatred. It doesn't mean revenge. It means choosing yourself. It means no longer needing their validation to feel whole. It means walking away, even if your voice shakes and your heart breaks, because some endings are sacred, some silences are healing. And some distances are the beginning of your return to peace. Inner peace isn't loud, it doesn't look impressive, it's not what gets attention in the world, but it's the foundation of everything worth building: real love, real clarity, real confidence. When you no longer need the approval of others to feel good about yourself, you're free, free to say no, free to create, free to rest, free to be. You can feel the shift when it happens. It's subtle but undeniable. You stop explaining yourself. You stop trying to fix what isn't yours. You stop arguing with people who are committed to misunderstanding you. And in that space, something beautiful begins to grow: self-respect. Stillness, a life that feels like it belongs to you again. It's not easy. Your mind will scream for comfort. Your heart will ache for familiar touch. Your old self will whisper that maybe, just maybe, they'll change. But your soul knows the truth. Healing starts with you, and you can't begin that journey while clinging to the very thing that broke you. So you take a breath, you unclench your grip, you loosen the emotional tether. You mourn the fantasy of what could have been, and then, quietly, you begin to walk not away from them, but back toward yourself. And in that return, you rediscover what was never lost: your inner compass, your peace, your quiet knowing. You realize you don't need to be seen to be valid. You don't need to be praised to be powerful. You don't need to be chosen to choose yourself. Letting go isn't weakness, it's strength in its purest form. Because it means you finally understand that peace isn't found in their recognition, it's found in your release. And when you finally let go of the hand that hurt you, you don't just set them free, you set yourself free. You become whole again, and no applause in the world can compete with the silence of a heart that's finally at rest. You can't heal while holding hands with the one who hurt you. That truth isn't just emotional, it's practical. Because healing, growth, and self-realization all require energy. They require clarity. They demand you break old patterns that drain you and replace them with systems that serve you. That's where leverage comes in. Leverage is the great equalizer. It allows you to multiply your efforts, create space, and reclaim your life. But none of that is possible while you're still tethered to what broke you. Holding on to the person or system that caused your pain may feel like safety, but it's actually stagnation. It keeps you small. It keeps you reactive. You spend your energy trying to be understood, trying to win back approval, trying to fix the unfixable. That energy could be used to build, to create, to escape the cycle altogether. But as long as you stay in the loop, still holding that familiar hand, you're not free, you're not available for new thinking, you're not available for leverage. Leverage in its purest form is about doing more with less. It's about removing friction. It's the ability to have your work, your ideas, your presence reach far beyond your own time and energy. In the modern world, Leverage comes in four major forms: code, capital, content, and people. All four are tools to help you escape the trap of trading your hours for survival, but none of them work if your mind is still trapped in survival mode. You can't build a business while still trying to please the people who doubted you. You can't write your truth while censoring yourself to protect someone else's ego. You can't scale your voice if you're still whispering to avoid conflict. Healing and leverage both require courage, both require space. And space can't exist if you're emotionally entangled with the very force that wounded you. The person who hurt you may never believe in your potential. They may actively work against it, but leverage doesn't need their permission. It only needs your clarity. It needs your full presence. You won't find clarity in a relationship rooted in guilt or obligation. You find it by stepping back, by disconnecting emotionally, by choosing to walk a path that's built not on pain, but on power. Leverage allows you to bypass gatekeepers. It allows your work to speak when you're not in the room. A tweet, a book, a product, a video. These can reach millions while you sleep. But you can't tap into that kind of growth if you're still emotionally checking in with the person who said you'd never make it. You can't focus deeply if part of you is still waiting for them to come around. That's not healing. That's self-abandonment. Real healing happens when you reclaim your autonomy, and leverage is a tool of autonomy. It's not about revenge. It's not about showing anyone that you made it. That's just another form of validation seeking. True leverage is silent. It's strategic. It's what happens when you take all the energy you were wasting on being understood and put it into building something that doesn't need defending. The freedom leverage gives you is profound. It frees you from needing to be liked, from needing to be right, from needing to constantly prove yourself. It gives you time, reach, and resilience, but it starts with emotional clarity. You must first choose yourself fully, without needing applause, without needing someone from your past to finally get it. That's when the door opens. That's when things begin to multiply. Walking away from what hurt you isn't just about healing. It's a prerequisite for growth. You cannot build leverage on a foundation of emotional debt. You cannot scale your life while dragging the weight of someone else's damage. You must untangle, you must release, not with bitterness, but with clarity. When you finally stop holding hands with the person who broke you, your hands become free to build, free to write, free to code, free to invest, free to lead. That's leverage, and that's power, not over others, but over your own life. So let them go, not because they don't matter, but because you finally do, not because they're evil, but because you're ready, not out of anger, but out of alignment. That's when healing begins. That's when leverage becomes real. That's when your life stops being a reaction and starts becoming a result.